Whenever I was 9 years old, there was an event that happened that would pretty much change my life, that would change my family's life, that would make things a little complicated to, I guess, to make it through the future, man. Like at the time, like I looked at the future, and most people, you as a teenager, you think of growing up and as a son, having that son and father connection, and learning from your dad, like all the things that a dad would teach you. One day my dad, he'd build my house, or my dad, he would we'd build a car together. Things that father and son do, but that was taken away from me whenever I was 9 years old at this intersection right here.
My parents, to me, mean pretty much everything, because if they hadn't have got together and took the time to conceive me, I wouldn't be here today. So I owe them my life, and what's special about myself and Matt's life is that we lost our mom at a young age to cancer. So I was 9 years old, and we were in the room when she died, and our dad was there, and I can imagine the feeling of being a parent and going through that, and being a single parent. So, but ever since then, in some weird way, I've always thought that she's made us stronger in some sense, on a spiritual level. Like I think I'm closer to her than words could even ever describe, or anybody could even ever understand. Because I often think about like what our lives would be like if she hadn't got sick, and went through all that, the cancer and just all those sad days, and just.
When I think about parents, obviously the first thing that comes to my mind is my mother, who actually died when I was 12, Jeff was 9. We didn't get to know her as well as we would have both have liked to, but she was a wonderful woman from the little bit that we did know. She was just a very classy, elegant lady. And I remember thinking, like, whenever she got cancer and died, I just thought it was very strange. It was very unfair. I mean, for someone who had never smoked at all, or never done anything bad, besides not just doing anything bad to their body, I mean, never done anything bad in general to other people. I thought it was really fair and very strange that she was someone that God took away from us. But who knows? Maybe things happen for a reason.
Being a parent is something that you're never ready for. I don't care how many classes you take, people tell you, it's scary. There's nothing to it. Being a parent is rough.
Pretty much my dad, he was, I guess you would say, he was like any other father. He would go out of his way to try to provide for his family. Just my memories of my dad it was more of him working. I mean, all the memories of my dad was just him coming home, off his daytime shift, even vacations or whatever that me and my mom would go on. A lot of times my dad wouldn't be able to go because he was, he had to work. If my dad could go out and bust his ass, if my dad could go out and he could work 2 jobs, manual labor, building houses, working in a plant, doing these things that really wear and tear on people, there's no reason for me, to sit back and go, well, and feel sorry for myself and go, well, I can't do something. I look at wrestling as being blessed because it's actually fun. I'm not out slaving to make a dollar like my dad did.
But then my dad is just he's my hero. I've said that, tons of times, and I'll continue to say that for the rest of my life. And even after he's gone, I mean, he is my hero because he has been such a role model and such a good father. To go through that, I was 9, Matt was 12, and just to continue on and work his ass off just so we could, get a car and go to school and have the things we need that eventually led us to be what and who we are today.
Although our dad was a very old school, hardcore country boy, he raised us hard, and when he cussed, he cussed. And he's still not afraid to cuss. He will cuss like crazy. But he's a very good man. He's a very honest man, a very hardworking man, and his word is his bond.
I think it's kind of cool that he never remarried. It wasn't that important to him because that's one thing we had in common with Shannon. On those parents episode, it's always cool to talk about because his mother never remarried either. And that's why we've had such a kind of a close relationship. But sure, he dated, and at first, you know, it was weird for Matt and I when we were younger. But like as we grew older and we matured, we was like, wow, you know, it wouldn't have bothered us probably if he would have gotten married. But like, props to him for not doing that.
He's still a good guy. He goes through these modes where sometimes during the winter he'll almost get in like these depression modes, and when it warms up a little bit, he'll kind of kick out and he'll be happy and he'll be good. Crazy old, you know, wild Claude G. Hardy, the legend, you know. So we're actually hoping he'll get back into that zone again. I mean, he's older now. Actually, this year he'll be 78, if I'm not mistaken, or 77.
So as a kid, 9 years old, the fact of not knowing if your dad's gonna make it through the week or not knowing if you're gonna have a dad whenever you wake up the next day, like, it's pretty breathtaking. So right here behind me, this is the intersection that my dad was hit by a dump truck. He was heading to work to provide for us, his family, and a dump truck crossed the intersection right here and clipped my dad. And it spun my dad out in his car and threw him out. He landed in the median right here, and that's where his injuries come from. He landed on his head, and it was all enclosed brain injuries. There were some people on the scene that seen it happen, and they said that my dad actually stood up after he landed and then collapsed, and that was the last time my dad ever walked. He had several blood clots on his brain that had to be removed. On the way to the hospital, he had died, and they had to bring him back. Once he got there, they didn't think he was gonna make it. You know, my mom, she said that, you know, whenever she got the phone call, they just said that they didn't think he was going to make it, that she needed to get there as soon as possible. Whenever he got there, they did several emergency surgeries on him and tried to remove some of the blood clots on his brain and everything. His brain stem had been snapped, and it was damaged real bad. And I guess that was one of the reasons that, you know, he was paralyzed.
And I definitely know that our mother dying young played a huge part in the development of both myself and my brother Jeff as we would grow older. And for the longest time, we lived our life very much kind of almost like in honor of her.
You know, things do happen for a reason. I think that her death may very well have been the reason. You know, we've had such great success, and maybe for those of you who are Christian or extreme church goers, and maybe, you know, a lot of people said, you know, maybe God just needed her. Maybe she was that special, that she was she was far more important in heaven than she was on earth. So